And so people are bailing out of these properties left and right. We also have a situation because of subprime lending that we provided these creative tools for financing housing that people can't afford that switch when it goes off that kicks that amount of money they've got to pay on that arm from one level of 500 to now the reality of 1,200. So they can't make those adjustments, and so you're seeing just a massive amount of foreclosure, and where's all going to lead to? You know, so the whole industrial infrastructure and job creation piece of it, because the service sector jobs are not a replacement for a industrial job where you are making $15, $20 an hour to where you're making $5.75. Okay. And so, I mean, the first time in 20 years now, the Congress has enacted a legislation to increase the minimum wage. Mm-hmm. And it's a tiered minimum wage increase over the next, I think, 3 years or 5 years. And it's because, again, the politics was that industries and companies that were providing jobs were complaining about the impact of minimum wage increases would have on their ability to maintain their workforce, much less expand it. We also, another phenomenon that has been really interesting that I have followed and worked with has been this issue around secondary income. What a number of communities have said is that there's really more money in the inner city than is measured by traditional measures. It's more than the Census Bureau says is in a community that's being earned. And so you have groups like Social Compact and others that come into existence to begin to look at other indicators of how you measure income. You know, they will look at things like what's being paid for utility costs and utility bills, what's being paid for credit card debt in certain areas, that they can do it by census tracts. And they can begin to look at some of these indicators that are showing you there's a tremendous amount of wealth in communities. And it's important because of the fact that companies that invest in communities are looking for these demographics as a basis for their business decision about location. Mm. And so we can show that there is really more buying power in these markets than have been perceived to be, that we can perhaps get some of those companies to begin to look at these neighborhoods in a different way. So while all this change is occurring in neighborhoods, we still need to have them do that. There was a study that was done, in fact done by Social Compact. It looked at two areas. It looked at an area in Chicago which was Little Pilsen's Village, which is an inner city area in Chicago, and compared it with a suburban area which was named suburbs of Chicago, which I forgot what it was. And this group had a median income of $22,000, and this area had a median income of $125,000. And what they showed was that this community spent more money per capita than that one did. And why did it spend more money? Because this community, and this is a family of $30,000 income, spends 100% of their money.
Yes.
Okay? A community, and this is interesting, income neighborhood, they show an income of $10,000 spends 150% of their income. How do you spend 150%?
Easy.
You 150% because they got secondary income, unreported income. Okay, so and this community over here is doing what? They are saving,
Right.
they are investing, they are owners of homes and businesses, and so they are not spending a large portion of their disposable income in the same way that these people are. So they're simply saying to a company, well look, this little community, it may have an average median income of 22, but they're spending at a rate that if you're going to put your business, you better off putting your Saks Fifth Avenue here than over there. But the thing is, that ain't going to happen. It's never going to happen because the fact
dollar store will move in there if they check it out.
That's right. That's right. So it's a level who will go there. Some store will go there, but it won't be Saks Fifth Avenue or some of the big, because they're looking at different demographics. They are regional draws. They're not neighborhood draws. Okay. So I spent a lot of time talking about and involved in economic development, thinking about how do we begin to change this equation about how to look at neighborhoods from the standpoint of what they have as purchasing power. And how do you then translate that to investors who want to look at whether or not they're going to locate their business in their neighborhood? Even though the demographics, are they going to buy what I sell? You know, and which was a big problem. And it's interesting, I mean, when we did as part of the Southwest Urban Renewal Area I talked about earlier in this discussion, one of the big things that was built there was a great big retail center. And one of the big things was a shopping center, was a supermarket. And the supermarket was contemplating that the people who were going to purchase in the store were the people who lived in all those high-rise market and upper income units in Southwest. And the people who did begin to purchase there were the people who lived in that public housing, in the low-income housing. And so when they walked into the store, why are we having sirloin? Or why are you carrying? So the store was not making any money because they were not carrying the goods, so they had to reshelf the whole store for the real purchasers. Because the higher income people were getting in their cars and driving to where they wanted to go to because they knew where they were used to shopping. And when there was no shopping there, they created their own niche shopping strategies, and it didn't relate to that place. Okay, and so it's a lot that goes on in education. And I spent a lot of time in my life working with retailers and people. And when I was running a nonprofit organization, why did I work with the International Franchise Association? And why did I work with the International Grocers Association? Because the fact that I was trying to get them to understand the value of inner city investment, of supporting a minority business opportunity and ownerships. And so we've got to still do that work while these neighborhoods are changing. And so what I'm afraid of now is that, and it's so frustrating, I'm going right back to the same problem that I was dealing with when I first started this work.
Right.
What I'm dealing with right now are neighborhoods, are now the Columbia Heights that I'm talking about in Washington, D.C., where the average price of housing now is $500,000. And the people who are living there are people who earn at that rate, and there are still low-income people who are living there in their family homes who can't pay the taxes. So, and we see responsive things. For example, the reverse annuity mortgage. Reverse annuity mortgage is a product that was created that says that you're living in a house that has $250,000 worth of value, and this is mostly seniors. Okay, for seniors, and so what they'll say is, so that has a value, annuity value, that if you are a certain age, I can figure out how long you may live by actuarial tables, and I'm going to give you that $250,000 on a monthly basis until you die. And when you die, I take your property because I have paid you for it. Now, and so that's a mortgage product that's trying to deal with the reality. So they always created people who are thinking about how to tap into the marketplace with new products and stuff. But what we're dealing with is, in around the country, are low-income people who are living in many cases, very desirable locations still. And many of them who are living there now are living in public assisted housing. That's the reason they're still there. Because the people who were living in rental housing, most of them have now been displaced by the owners who have sold the property, or they have rented it for market. They no longer have a need for a Section 8 certificate. So this person who could shop around in this market and get a unit can't do it anymore. So where are they going? Where are they going? They're going, into some cases, they're going with other relatives and creating situations of what? Of overcrowding. And so the public, which has a responsibility for code enforcement, to make sure this doesn't happen, because they know that if they enforce code, that they're going to cause the displacement of these people, they relax code enforcement. Okay? All these people are moving further out into exurbia, finding affordability. And then you say, well, we want you to work, but they can't get back from exurbia because the major jobs are where? In inner city. They're not in exurbia, they're not in suburbs, they're still in the central business district.